All right, welcome to another episode of A Case for Travel Tuesdays. It's a cold, snowy morning here in Calgary. We had a blizzard out of nowhere yesterday that was not in the forecast, but we're Canadian, we learned to live with that. So this morning I have with me my special guest, Anna Bright of Anna Bright Luxury Travel. We're creating custom travels of your dreams so you can relax and connect with your significant other is Anna's specialty. So welcome, Anna from Nashville.
Thank you to be here. I appreciate you having me today.
And it's much nicer in Nashville, I'm sure, than it is here.
It's supposed to be a little rainy today, so maybe not perfect, but not bad.
Oh, good. Anna, the other day you had something on your Instagram feed that I found quite interesting, that your passport probably thinks you're in prison.
I think it does. Because I've thought back, and the last time I traveled internationally was to Ireland in November of 2019. So it has been a long time since that passport has been used, and I actually just got mine renewed. So that's a tip for our viewers out there, is that if you have a passport that's coming due sometime this year, I would definitely suggest getting your passport renewed. But I have gotten mine renewed and back. So yes. I've got a new one ready for some stamps.
To be prepared. I know I'm good till 2024, so I've got a little bit of time.
All right, good for you.
Yeah, excellent. So Anna, we both agree that to travel is to live, right? And when you travel, you realize the beauty in the different countries and the different cultures. And these cultural interactions really do change a person. So how has travel changed you?
Well, it truly has changed me. I feel like it has broadened my views of the world and people. I think that we are maybe more narrow-minded before we travel. We think everybody's like us, that the world is like us. And once we step out of our comfort zone, and see what it's like to live in other countries, we as Americans think everybody lives like we do. And when you go to third world countries and you see true poverty and you see how people live. I know the first time when I went to Kenya, and I was on a Mikado safari doing Kenya and Tanzania during the Great Migration. And Mikado, and we've talked about companies that give back, is one who puts a child in school, pays their tuition for a year for every person that books a safari with them, and had the opportunity to visit in one of the slum areas of the city and see what it was like for those people living there, and helped actually with one of their things was women with menstruating, that they would have kits for that, and saw how they put those things together at an area that they had. So it was just interesting. So that was really my first experience. And I went to a Maasai village and I saw how they lived in these mud huts and, crawled in like they would crawl in, and you smell that dirt, and everyone is basically has dirt on them because that's how they live. And, but they don't think anything about it, and they smile, and they greeted me with dancing, and the Maasai jumped straight up and down. And so I jumped straight up and down. One of my favorite pictures of me traveling is with the beautiful Maasai women. And, it's such a stark contrast to their beautiful dark skin with my super fair complexion, but just that interaction, changed me forever. Really, I think that first trip to Africa opened my eyes to the world. And I have wanted to continue to travel and meet people and learn their stories and how they live ever since.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. And I like how you mentioned too, the companies that give back. And I think, moving forward in travel, that's something that people really need to be aware of when you are out visiting the world. Choose companies and experiences that are going to give back to those local communities. It's very important, and it helps us learn about that culture better as well.
Absolutely, it does. I
Mhm.
know most of the companies I try to work with always do something, and I think that we as travel agents, it's part of our responsibility to educate our travelers as well, that, it's important to us that, when we're traveling to countries, that we are able to give back and not just go in and take from them, but also to leave something, maybe make the world a better place from where we go. So that's kind of always been my goal, and really strive to do that.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So establishing that personal connection is a crucial part of transformational travel. So how do you establish that connection with your clients to create the perfect trip for them?
Well, it's interesting. I think, and I laugh because, of course, I at one time I was married. I'm divorced now, so I know what it's like to also be single. I know what it's like to be a mother traveling with, kids as a single parent, or as a family traveling all together. So I think because of the fact that I have been about every stage that anybody can be in their life
Mm.
path, and then I had a boyfriend who I forgot that had I dated for 4 years, who passed away. So I feel like I know what it's like to feel widowed a bit. So I feel like that no matter where somebody is in their life, that I can relate to it. And so I really just try to get to know each person that I work with, and find out about them, about their life, what interests them, their passions, what is specific to them that drives them internally. And we just carry on a dialogue. I mean, really, with many of my clients now, I mean, I know that I have one couple who sleeps in separate beds, because she has restless leg syndrome. So they don't have to tell me that, Anna, don't forget to book a separate bed, because I know, and that's not something I'm sure somebody wants to bring up every time, but
No.
that's something that they need. I have, another couple who always wants a king bed, or they always want private transfers, or another mom and two daughters, they always want special culinary experiences like cooking classes, or if there's a cool bakery nearby, to go to a bakery. So, once you know who you're working with and you work with over and over, then it's fun to reach out and find something unique for, whether it's a couple I'm working with. I have a lot of couples who are foodies. So, finding a perfect romantic restaurant, or experience, for them. Like, I love to try new things. So whether, if you've never been in a hot air balloon, if you want to go on a hot air balloon ride, so I try to ask questions that really prod my, um, you know, as well, throw out ideas. Now, for some people, I may be out of their comfort zone, and
Mhm.
everybody has their own area that they feel comfortable in. Some people, as travel advisors, we have to figure out, we want to maybe stretch our clients a bit, but we don't want to make them uncomfortable. I don't mind helping somebody, you know, stretch out of your comfort zone, but for some people that's just too much. And particularly with everything that's gone on in our world, we I don't want anybody traveling and not feeling comfortable traveling right
Mhm.
now with COVID going on. I have clients
Mhm.
who don't, are happy to, wear their mask and follow all the rules and travel with those restrictions. I have others who don't. And really, it's um, listening a lot, I think, is key in our job, just to learn about our clients. And sometimes we are having to read between the lines, and so much now is done either over the phone or via email, where this one-on-one sitting down with each other, which is nice. So it's like we're sitting down with each other now, and we can
Mhm.
each other and feed off each other, but that's not always the case. But I definitely have done some Zoom calls now with clients because everybody's more comfortable with it. And so I think that will be something that we see more going forward, which I think is nice.
Yeah, yeah. And something you'd mentioned about your trip to Africa there, with engaging all your senses, and you go into the huts and you smell the dirt, and growing through these new experiences that you've had with your travel and the relationships, it's all part of the beauty of travel. Can you explain on that, expand on that a little bit more?
Well, about using their senses for travel. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. We're
yeah.
gonna hear a dog coming in.
Oh,
for a
that's
minute.
okay.
It's all part of the beauty of working from home. But
Everybody I've interviewed has said, I hope my dog doesn't start barking. I'm like, it's okay. If your dog starts barking, everybody knows we're all at home. So
right, I know it. Hopefully, my old cat, who's super loud, will stay quiet, and she's asleep. I mean, that's if you see a chair here. That's because I have my coworker, Rowdy, the cat, is always beside me when I work, so I have to have her chair to keep her happy. But I really do like to engage my senses when I travel, and also my clients. I just think that our senses help us create those memories, and to me, travel is about creating memories and experiences. And when you engage those senses, I think you feel like, those memories. Like if you smell, like sometimes if I smelled a certain dirt, or earth, it would take me back to that Messiah hut. Or, if you're on the ocean and, you feel the breeze, I mean, it will transport you back, to a certain place. And I think, whether you get in a bed and you remembered like the comfort of a bed you laid in in a castle in Ireland, or wherever it may be, or a special dinner you had when you were outside. um, and you either hear, maybe it's the sounds of city because you're in a city and you heard the horns blaring, or maybe it would be the sounds of birds chirping because you had it out in the middle of a field somewhere, or the ocean. Because I mean, and I create those experiences for my clients, all over, and have had them myself. And I think so much of really how I got into travel was because I had such a passion and a love for travel. The first trip when I went to Africa, I was not in the travel business. And so really my passion for travel started when I was little. I created trips for my family using the AAA books
oh
because
yeah,
we didn't have the internet then.
no,
So I mean, and as a child, I would call and book reservations for my family to go on vacation. So
oh
I
really?
I have been doing travel ever since I was a child. And just had a little hiatus when I did accounting, and but it's always been my passion. And so I've created trips for myself, my family,
Mhm.
whatever, until now. But and I'm truly a foodie. I love good food, good wine, champagne, um, drinks. And so, like, to me, those taste of when you travel, like when I was in Morocco and had a tangine, that's something that's definitely a different taste. But every
Mhm.
now and then you can find something that creates those local dishes you've had from different places when you travel. Or um, like sounds. One of the things I remember, I was in Grindelwald, Switzerland, and I rode the chairlift up the mountain and hearing the tinkling of the cowbells. And every cow has a different
Yes.
bell on their collar so that the farmer knows which cow is where on the mountain. And like that is like one thing. Like if I hear the tinkling of bells, or even sometimes I guess like um, a wind chime, it will remind me of that experience going up the mountain. And I was by myself. Sometimes I guess in our travel business, we are traveling alone. And I happened to be, I had done a conference and I was by myself. And just had really a magical experience just listening to those bells. So I think that's one of the things I can think about, are the sound of the sheep that were bleeding, the sounds they make when I was in Ireland. Just it's just amazing things that you remember and hear. The call of prayer in Morocco, that it's kind of a haunting sound, but it's a unique sound. We don't
Mhm.
hear that here
Mhm.
where I'm in the United States or Canada. So I think anything that's a bit different and unique, those were one of the things. And of course, I mean, I think we use our eyes to see. And Ireland, one of its things is it's 40 shades of green instead of 40 shades of gray, you know, with all the colors that they have that are so beautiful. And I think about that, and, just visiting the world, and even, with our eyes, the different people. Because we all don't look the same. And I think I think to me, travel opens your eyes to the beauty of every culture, every person, that we are unique. I think that, if we all look like me, what a boring place this world would be. The
Hmm.
fact that we do all look different, and, maybe, of course you're hearing my Southern accent, we're all from all parts of the world. And I think that's part of the beauty, is that we are all unique. And I think just instead of, it tearing the world apart, it should make us grow closer together and embrace our differences. Because to me, I think that's what travel has done for me. And I hope for my clients who I book for, that it helps them to love the world and each people, and to really value them. I know that was maybe
Absolutely.
not part of the thing, but it just made me
No, it's,
think of that, of the beauty of each person, because I think we're all different all over.
mhm. No, that's perfect, because visiting those different countries, if you've never been to them, we always see and hear what's on the news. And even if it's something from 10 or 20 years ago, that sticks with us. And those countries change and they have improved. I think of countries in Central and South America that are not what they were before, but people still think of them as these dangerous countries to go to. When you go and experience them, it completely changes your perception of that country and the people as well. Because, we usually, we do have a lot of the times it's wrong. Our
No,
perception of other
absolutely. I mean,
countries.
it is. And I think, some people, tend to think like French people are not nice. And I've had some amazing experiences in France, and,
Mhm.
the people being so kind. One of my girlfriends and I did a river cruise that started in Lyon, France, and had taken the train down, and we were carrying our suitcases, and we had to go up these steps, and these people offered to carry our suitcases. Of course, we laughed and said we didn't know if they were going to run off with them, or if they were going to carry them up for us. And they carried them up for us, and they were helping us with directions to get where we were going. So, I mean, I think how people misconceptions are, I mean, and we all may tend to have that until you are right there in that moment having such a great experience. And we talked about, um, those, and they were younger people, who were helping us. I don't know if they heard us talking or whatever on the train and knew that we might could need some help, and helped us out. And I think that so many times we don't give people the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
And just, that was a fun experience. And I had one of my best meals I ever had in the town of Lyon, that night. And, we said what a highlight of our trip to really just start it off right. I think, we never know what people are going to be like. And,
Mhm.
um, and I went, I think maybe it was 2 years ago. I arrived, I think it was on Easter Sunday, or maybe it'd been Good Friday. I don't know. I can't remember the day, but I was in Florence, Italy. And I'm not Catholic, but I went to the church there that was beautiful, and I attended the Catholic Mass. It was all in Italian, and about the only thing I could understand was Jesus Christ, in Italian, but it was great to experience that church like it was designed to be created. And I was there by myself, I just sat, but I followed what the other people were doing, and along as well. But I thought this was how this was meant to be, not just for me to walk through the church, but to sit there and
Mhm.
experience. I think anytime we can do an experience like the locals would be doing, whether it's attended church service with them or whatever it might be, I think is a great experience to have.
It is. And everything that you've said has honestly taken me back through all my travels in different countries. I've visited so many different countries with the, you said, with the cowbells, and we'd hear them in Italy coming up the hills. Oh, the
Right.
cows are coming home. And church bells. In Europe, you hear church bells all the time. Like behind me is the Cologne Cathedral. I took that picture when we visited Germany in 2018. And you're in the countryside in these little towns, and you always hear the church bells. And yeah, it really does take you back. It really takes you back visiting those countries again. So it's been wonderful hearing you share your experiences. I've loved it. And church too, we had the same experience in Austria, in Salzburg. We came to the Salzburg Cathedral and didn't realize that we were entering a service as well. And it was just before noon. And we're, oh, perfect timing. We wandered in, sat down. There was no lineups. Like in Italy, there's always lineups for every cathedral. And once we left Italy, there was never lineups for any of them. Sat down, and same thing. It was all in German. There was a beautiful organ recital just ahead of time that I recorded. And I too could pick out, Jesus, and I recognized the Lord's Prayer, because the meter was, oh, that's
Right.
what they're saying now. So, but it was a beautiful experience, and it was where I needed to be at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we end up at where we're supposed to be. We don't know it at the time. And I had gone to see the Statue of David, and then was coming back to my hotel and thought, well, let me just peek in there. And lo and behold, they said, well, you can't go in and tour, but you can go to church. Like, I'm going to church.
Yeah, perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So you are a specialist in Ireland. Why Ireland?
Well, it kind of turned out to just work that way, but I do have Ireland ancestry. I was a Sullivan growing up, so my sister has traced our line all the way back to Ireland. We were some of the first people, I think, to arrive in the United States. Not the first on the ships, but soon after, and our ancestors fought in the American Revolution. So it's been a long time in the United States. So that's my Sullivan side. And so it was really just kind of a perfect match. I went to Ireland the first time. I can't remember what year it was, but fell in love with the country and the people. And so it was easy to have that be a specialty, because it is truly a great fit for me. I've helped clients with some ancestry, finding contacts to help them work on their own ancestry in Ireland. But just I love the castles where you can stay and visit, and the people and the pubs, and great restaurants there, just the various experiences you can have. I've had, clients who've done honeymoons, big family trips, just a variety, or couples just truly traveling together, or multiple couples. But, and when my son graduated college, I took him and my adult daughter, and we had a great time in Ireland, and had a chauffeur who we fell in love with, and said that, he was always there when we needed him for anything. And we went through Brendan vacations, and they were awesome. And we went to Northern Ireland and around the country. And, it was fascinating to hear the history of how Northern Ireland and Ireland separated, and what happened. And even, Northern Ireland today still has the wall up, and it's shut each night. And, for me, that's just so hard to imagine that people can't get along because of, religious beliefs mostly. And I have a hard time with that. But at the same time, you have to understand it is what, it's their issues and not ours. And but just it's fascinating, but learned a lot. And Northern Ireland has so much beauty with Giant's Causeway, is gorgeous there. We went to Carrick-a-Reed Bridge. So, I mean, I have had, been blessed to have some amazing experiences in Ireland, both with my kids and alone, or with groups of other travel agents as well. But have visited many gorgeous hotels, just had awesome experience. Love Ashford Castle. We were able to stay 2 nights there, and we did falconry, which is one of my things I recommend for anyone going to Ireland, that they need to experience that. And we did skeet shooting, which was fun as well, and did afternoon tea with champagne with each course. And my son loves those little sandwiches. And so he got more. I think he just likes the crust cut off, which I should probably do for him. Of course, he's now 24 and doesn't live here anymore. But, we have some fun experiences. And, my daughter and I like the sweets. And we just had such an amazing time, the three of us.
Very nice. Yeah. It's tracing your roots back is an interesting thing. And that's something that I'm also very interested in, is visiting the countries where your heritage is from. And my heritage is German. So when we go back in 2022, I'm hoping to integrate a little more of my history in it than the first time we went. I didn't have the background of who came from which village or that type of thing. So I think it'll give me a whole new perspective on the country, experiencing it that way. So
yeah, I have German ancestors too, but we have trouble tracing that German side. My sister, she's the expert, has had more issues with it, but we know we have Grossman and Ostendorf, so we definitely have the Germans. We just not exactly sure where they're from.
Interesting. Well, Anna, it's never too late for romance, or never too early for romance, and your niche is helping couples reconnect through romantic travel. So what is one trip that you've planned for a couple, or anyone that's been a romantic trip that really sticks out in your mind that has impacted their lives?
Well, one of my couples that I have worked with, and I've done several trips for them, he is a photographer and she is a painter. And those were not really their normal jobs, but they're kind of, they're both retired now. They were not when they went on this trip, but I sent them to Africa, and they did do the Great Migration in Victoria Falls. And we customized it totally for them with a private car and driver, because I knew as photographers that, for them to take pictures, it's his specifically for photographs and hers to capture images for painting, that, they would maybe not do well with somebody else in their vehicle. Like if they wanted to take a long time to capture, just the right sun, the angle, whatever. So, I think, as I said, knowing a client, and then, they wanted like the pink flamingos. So making sure they were at the perfect places. And I did do like a special dinner for them out in the bush, and they did the balloon ride over the Serengeti, and then to see those pictures that they captured when they got back and shared them with me, they culled them down to just a few. It's just breathtaking to see what they were able to capture. And then I had another couple that, totally something different, that we did to Tahiti, and they stayed at the Four Seasons in Bora Bora, and, did special experiences where they had like a special meal out on the beach, had a special boat day where they went out and snorkeled and had some fun experiences, did couples massages, and then they also went to the Brando for part of their stay and had just a fabulous time in their beachside villa, which is total privacy, luxury, with special experiences. So I've had so many that I've had the good fortune to send all over the world for romantic trips, and just really try to find out exactly what the client's looking for, and then rev it up a little bit, I hope.
Oh. And I can imagine, you said the couple that traveled, the photographers, that they culled it down to a few. I'm sure they had thousands of pictures, thousands, like the Great Migration. Wow.
It was, their shots were just it was like looking at something out of a book. They were so perfect, the amazing shots. And then they did Antarctica right before COVID hit, and so seeing the penguins and the ice, and it was another amazing trip. But I love sending them, because then I get to reap the benefits of their their photos, which are just stunning. So it's really great to be able to share in the experiences with your clients.
Live through their pictures. Yeah, very nice. So Anna, if people want to find out more about you, where's the best place to find you?
Well, you can find me at annabrightluxurytravel.com. Also on Facebook at Anna Bright Luxury Travel, and also Instagram. So I'm pretty findable. Just if you remember Anna Bright, you should be able to find me, and Anna Bright Luxury Travel. And I just appreciate Charlotte having me on today. She is amazing, a wealth of knowledge, and such a great niche she has as well.
Well, thank you. So have a great day, and thanks for sharing your experiences with us today, Anna.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.